Adaeze pressed her face against the cracked window of Crown Heights Academy, watching the mathematics teacher write equations on the board. Her stomach growled, but she ignored it. The answer was 17. The girl in the front row said 15. Wrong. The boy beside her said 20. Also wrong. 17. Adaeze whispered to herself, her breath fogging the glass. The teacher wrote the answer on the board. 17. A security guard's hand grabbed her shoulder, yanking her backward. You again! How many times must I chase you from here? Adaeze stumbled, her torn sandal catching on the concrete. Please, sir, I'm just listening. Get out before I call the police. He raised his baton. She ran, always running. Past the golden gates, past the cars that cost more than most people's houses, past the world she could never enter. At 13, Adaeze had learned every shortcut in the city, every fence she could peek through, every window left carelessly open. She'd taught herself to read by watching, to calculate by listening, to dream by stealing glimpses of classrooms she'd never sit in. The scorching afternoon sun beat down as she returned to the junction where her mother sat. Mama Adaeze rocked back and forth on the pavement, talking to invisible people, her wrapper stained with dirt and old food. The madness had taken her 3 years ago after Papa died. Now she spent her days arguing with demons only she could see. Mama, I'm back, Adaeze said softly, sitting beside her. Her mother turned, eyes unfocused. The birds told me you flew away. Why did you come back? The sky is safer than the ground. Adaeze pulled out the half-eaten bun she'd found in a garbage bin earlier. Eat, Mama. While her mother nibbled, lost in her own world, Adaeze noticed a girl watching them from across the street. The girl wore the Crown Heights Academy uniform. Pressed blazer, polished shoes, the kind of perfection Adaeze saw only in her dreams. Their eyes met. The girl whispered something to her friend, and they both laughed. Adaeze's cheeks burned. She looked down at her own feet, dusty, cracked, bleeding from a cut she'd gotten yesterday. This was her life, begging, watching, hungering for knowledge she'd never officially receive. That evening, as traffic roared past their corner, a woman approached. She wore a simple dress and had kind eyes. What's your name, child? Adaeze, she answered, suspicious. People didn't usually ask. I'm Mrs. Comfort. I run the food stand across the road. Come work for me, clean plates, serve customers. I'll pay you. Adaeze's heart leapt. How much? Enough to eat. Maybe more if you work hard. For 6 months, Adaeze worked every day after her morning window watching at schools. Mrs. Comfort noticed her writing numbers in the sand during breaks, solving problems she'd memorized from her stolen glimpses of education. You're brilliant, Mrs. Comfort said one day. I'm paying your school fees. Adaeze couldn't speak. Tears ran down her face as Mrs. Comfort enrolled her in a public school. For 3 months, Adaeze was the best student they'd ever seen. She absorbed knowledge like drought-stricken earth absorbs rain. Teachers called her gifted. Other students called her genius. Then Mrs. Comfort's visa came through. I'm moving to Canada, she said, not meeting Adaeze's eyes. I've done what I can for you. The school expelled Adaeze the next week. No fees, no education. She stood outside the gates, begging them to let her stay, but rules were rules. The poor didn't get second chances. Back on the streets, Adaeze started selling pure water in traffic, balancing the tray on her head while calculating profits in her mind. Every day, she passed Crown Heights Academy. Every day, she remembered what learning felt like. Tomorrow, she decided, she would find another window, another fence, another way to feed her starving mind. Because even if the world had forgotten her, Adaeze refused to forget herself. The mango tree behind Crown Heights Academy became Adaeze's secret classroom. She'd discovered a gap in the fence hidden by overgrown bushes, just wide enough for her thin frame. Every day at noon, she crept through and positioned herself where she could hear the lessons drifting from the open windows. 3 weeks into her routine, a voice startled her. You're the girl who keeps sneaking in. Adaeze spun around. A girl her age stood there, designer uniform, perfect braids, an expression caught between curiosity and disgust. Her name tag read Kemi Adebayo. I'll leave, Adaeze said quickly, gathering her pencil stub and scrap paper. Wait. Kemi stepped closer. How do you know the answer to Mr. Johnson's calculus problem? Even the senior students couldn't solve it, but I heard you whisper the correct answer. Adaeze shrugged. I listen. I learn. Through windows? Kemi's voice carried disbelief. You've never been inside a real classroom? Not for 2 years now. Kemi sat down on the grass, her expensive uniform spreading around her like a flower. Show me. Show you what? How you solved it. Adaeze hesitated, then knelt and began writing in the dirt with a stick. She explained derivatives, showed the steps, made it simple. Kemi's eyes widened with each line. You're teaching better than Mr. Johnson, Kemi whispered. I actually understand it. They met every lunch break after that. Kemi brought food, rice, chicken, things Adaeze hadn't tasted in years. Adaeze brought knowledge, breaking down complex problems into bite-sized pieces Kemi could digest. The billionaire's daughter, who had private tutors for everything, finally found someone who could actually teach her. My father thinks I'm stupid, Kemi confessed one afternoon. He pays the school extra to keep promoting me. Everyone knows. You're not stupid, Adaeze said firmly. You just learn differently. Their friendship grew in secret. Kemi never told anyone about the barefoot girl who made her love learning. Adaeze never told anyone about the rich girl who saw her as more than street trash. One day, Kemi brought a gift, a notebook and new pencils. Adaeze held them like sacred objects. My birthday is next week, Kemi said. Father always asks what I want. This year I know exactly what to ask for. What? You. I want him to pay your school fees. Adaze's heart stopped. He'll never agree. Look at me. My mother is mad. We sleep on the streets. He doesn't have to know everything. I'll tell him you're my tutor. Kemi, no. If he finds out, he won't. Kemi grabbed her hands. You're the only real friend I've ever had. Everyone else just wants my father's money or connections. You want nothing from me except friendship. That night, Adaeze found her mother dancing in the rain, singing to ghosts. She gently led her to shelter under a bridge, where other homeless people gathered. Mama, what if our lives could change? Adaeze whispered. Her mother laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Change is what the spirits promise before they steal your soul. I had a daughter once. She was brilliant. The spirits took her and left me with you instead. Adaze's chest tightened. Even in madness, her mother couldn't see her. The next morning she arrived at the mango tree to find Kemi crying. What happened? Father found out. The security guard saw us and reported it. He's coming here today. Adaze's blood turned cold. Chief Adebayo was known throughout the city. Powerful, ruthless. A man who crushed anyone who crossed him. And now he knew his daughter had been meeting with a street girl. Run, Kemi said. Leave now before... The rumble of engines cut her off. 3 black SUVs rolled through the gates. Adaze's legs trembled, but she couldn't move. This was it. The end of everything. Chief Adebayo stepped out, his presence commanding immediate attention from everyone in sight. His eyes found them instantly. His daughter in her perfect uniform, and beside her, a girl who clearly didn't belong. He walked toward them with slow, deliberate steps. Chief Adebayo stood before them, his shadow falling across both girls like judgment itself. Adaeze kept her eyes down, waiting for the explosion of anger, the orders to his security men, the end of her only friendship. Look at me, he commanded. Adaeze raised her head slowly. The billionaire's face was unreadable, his dark eyes studying her like she was a business proposal he couldn't quite figure out. You're the girl teaching my daughter? Yes, sir, Adaeze whispered. The security footage shows you've been coming here for weeks, trespassing on my property. Father, please, Kemi started. He raised his hand, silencing her. Let her speak for herself. Adaze's throat was dry. I just wanted to learn, sir. I meant no harm. Where are your parents? My father is dead. My mother is... She paused. Unwell. Unwell how? Adaeze looked at Kemi, who nodded encouragingly. She's mad, sir. We live on the streets. Chief Adebayo was quiet for a long moment. Then he turned to his daughter. Your mathematics scores improved by 60% this term. Your teachers are calling it miraculous. Because of Adaeze, Kemi said boldly. She's the smartest person I know. Smarter than the tutors I pay millions for. Yes. He looked back at Adaeze. Show me. Sir, prove you're worth my daughter's time. He pulled out his phone, showed her a screen with complex financial calculations. My accountants took 3 hours to solve this yesterday. Can you do it? Adaeze studied the numbers. Her mind worked quickly, seeing patterns, understanding the problem. She asked for paper and began writing. 5 minutes later, she handed him the solution. Chief Adebayo checked it against his phone. His eyebrows rose slightly, the first emotion he'd shown. Where did you learn this? Windows, sir. I watch through school windows. I remember everything I see. Everything? She nodded. He asked her about Nigerian history, chemistry equations, English literature. She answered everything correctly, even quoting entire passages from books she'd only glimpsed once. Remarkable, he muttered. Then louder, take me to your mother. Terror flooded Adaeze's chest. Sir, please, she doesn't know. I'm not going to harm her, or you. Just take me to her. The convoy followed Adaeze through the city's forgotten corners to where her mother sat by the gutter, arguing with a piece of cardboard. Mama Adaeze wore the same wrapper she'd worn for weeks, her hair matted, her feet bare and swollen. Chief Adebayo stepped out of his car. People on the street stopped and stared. What was a billionaire doing in their slum? He approached Adaeze's mother slowly, then did something that shocked everyone. He knelt beside her. Madam, he said gently. She looked at him with wild eyes. Have you come to take me to heaven? I told them I'm not ready, my wings are still broken. No, madam, I've come to help. He stood and made a call. Doctor Okonkwo, yes, prepare the psychiatric ward, full treatment, best care available. You're taking her, Adaeze asked, panic rising. To get help, real medical help. He looked at her. And you're coming with me. Where? Home. You'll live with us while your mother receives treatment. Kemi gasped. Really, father? This girl has been teaching you through fence gaps and windows with no resources except her mind. Imagine what she could do with proper education. He turned to Adaeze. But there are conditions. Anything, sir. You'll attend Crown Heights officially. You'll maintain top grades. You'll continue tutoring Kemi. And you'll make something of yourself that justifies my investment. Adaeze's legs nearly gave out. You're sending me to school? I'm giving you a chance, don't waste it. Within hours, Adaeze's life transformed. Her mother was taken to the best psychiatric hospital in the city. Adaeze herself sat in a real car for the first time, heading to a house she'd only imagined in dreams. But as the gates of the Adebayo mansion opened before her, she wondered if she was trading one type of survival for another. The Adebayo mansion was a different universe. Adaeze stood in the marble foyer, afraid to touch anything, afraid to breathe too loudly. Servants bustled around, polishing surfaces that already gleamed, arranging flowers that cost more than her mother's monthly begging earnings. This is your room, Kemi said, pushing open a door. Adaeze stepped inside and immediately stepped back out. There's been a mistake. This is bigger than anywhere I've ever lived. It's yours, Kemi insisted, pulling her back in. Father's orders. That night, Adaeze couldn't sleep in the soft bed. She lay on the floor instead, familiar hardness against her back, staring at the ceiling and wondering when she'd wake up from this dream. The next morning came with challenges. Mrs. Adebayo, the chief's wife, looked at Adaeze with barely concealed disgust. So you're the street girl my husband has lost his mind over, she said at breakfast. Mama, please, Kemi protested. Don't Mama please me. Your father brings home strays and expects me to smile. She turned to Adaeze. Don't get comfortable. His charity projects never last. At Crown Heights Academy, word spread quickly. The mad woman's daughter was now a student. The girl who used to peek through windows now walked through the front door. Reactions varied from curiosity to outright hostility. She probably stole something from the chief, one girl whispered. Maybe she's his illegitimate child, another suggested. Adaeze heard everything but said nothing. She had work to do. In class, she raised her hand for every question. Teachers who'd only heard rumors about her intelligence saw it firsthand. By the end of the first week, she'd broken 3 school records in mathematics and science. But excellence bred resentment. A group of girls cornered her after school. You think you're special now? The leader, Funke, sneered. Wearing our uniform doesn't make you one of us. I don't want to be one of you, Adaeze replied quietly. I just want to learn. Funke pushed her. Your mad mother is probably dancing in the psychiatric ward right now. Something snapped in Adaeze. 3 years of protecting her mother, 3 years of swallowing insults, 3 years of survival erupted. She grabbed Funke's wrist. "Say whatever you want about me." Adaeze's voice was deadly calm. "But mention my mother again, and I'll show you what the streets taught me about fighting." Funke jerked away, fear flickering in her eyes. The group scattered. Kemi found her later, crying behind the library. "They're not wrong," Adaeze sobbed. "I don't belong here." "You belong wherever you choose to stand," Kemi said firmly. "Father saw something in you. I see it too." That evening, Chief Adebayo called Adaeze to his study. "Funke's parents complained. They say you threatened their daughter." Adaeze's heart sank. This was it, back to the streets. "What happened?" he asked. She told him everything, including what Funke said about her mother. Chief Adebayo leaned back. "Your mother is responding well to treatment. The doctors say she's showing improvement." "Really? Would you like to see her this weekend?" Adaeze nodded eagerly. "Good. And about Funke, stand your ground. But use your mind, not your fists. The best revenge against people who think you're beneath them is to rise so high they have to crane their necks to see you." At the psychiatric hospital that Saturday, Adaeze barely recognized her mother. She was clean, her hair combed, wearing a fresh hospital gown. "Mama!" Her mother looked up, and for the first time in 3 years, her eyes were clear. "Adaeze! My daughter!" Adaeze ran into her arms, sobbing. "You know me. You see me." "I've always seen you," her mother whispered. "Even when the darkness took me somewhere inside, I knew my brilliant girl was still fighting." They held each other, 2 survivors reunited. The doctor explained that with continued treatment, her mother could recover significantly. Walking back to the car, Chief Adebayo put his hand on Adaeze's shoulder. "Your mother's bills are covered. Focus on your studies." "Why are you doing this?" Adaeze asked. "Because I was once poor too," he said quietly. "Someone gave me a chance. Now I'm giving you yours." 6 months later, Adaeze stood at the podium before the entire Crown Heights Academy, her mother sitting in the front row beside Chief and Mrs. Adebayo. The madness had lifted like morning fog, leaving behind the intelligent woman who'd once been a teacher before life broke her. "Today, we celebrate an exceptional student," the principal announced. "Adaeze has not only topped every class, but has been accepted to represent Nigeria at the International Mathematics Olympiad." The applause was thunderous. Even Funke, who'd tormented her, clapped reluctantly. Mrs. Adebayo, who'd called her a stray, now introduced her at social gatherings as our brilliant ward. But Adaeze's speech wasn't about her achievements. "8 months ago, I learned mathematics through dirty windows," she began. "I taught myself to read using discarded newspapers. I solved equations in the dust because I had no paper. Not because I was special, but because education was my only hope of escaping poverty." The audience grew quiet. Every child pressing their face against school windows right now has that same hunger, that same potential. They just lack opportunity. She looked at Chief Adebayo. "One man changed my life by choosing to see beyond my circumstances. Today, I announce the Mango Tree Foundation, funded by Chief Adebayo, which will identify and educate street children who show academic promise." The revelation sent ripples through the crowd. Chief Adebayo smiled. This had been Adaeze's condition for accepting his continued support. Not just personal success, but lifting others. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment at the comment section below.